DJ Envy. I haven't seen a video. I can't find it, but they saying that you saying I'm asking for too much money because I don't have the numbers on the platform.
Boosie, remember every time he was on Vlad TV and he said something about a rapper in hip-hop, oh, that nigga's a snitch. And he went all out. Those interviews went viral. Vlad TV plastered over the place. And when he had to run into niggas at the airport, niggas had to check him. Why you working with that man? And he had to stand in the paint. And for him, he thought that, yo, I'm loyal to the soil, but I know I'm gonna get this shit back.
The whole situation around Boosie is starting to look messy, and honestly, it's getting uncomfortable to watch unfold in real time. What began as a simple negotiation has now turned into a full-blown online spiral, and people can't stop talking about it. From the outside, it feels like things escalated way faster than they needed to. So here's what's being said. Boosie reportedly turned down an offer of $25,000 from DJ Vlad to appear on Vlad TV, and this wasn't some random number either. This was apparently the standard amount Vlad had been paying him for interviews before. But things took a turn when Boosie found out that Tekashi 6ix99 was getting around $50,000 for his appearances. That's when Boosie decided he wanted a bump in his pay, aiming somewhere closer to $35,000 or even higher. Now, instead of keeping things private, Boosie chose to take it public, and the way it's being interpreted, it looked like he was trying to apply pressure on Vlad by putting the situation out there for everyone to see. The idea might have been that public opinion would swing in his favor, pushing Vlad to meet his new price. But instead of working out like that, it completely flipped the other way.
DJ Envy. I haven't seen a video. I can't find it, but they saying that you saying I'm asking for too much money because I don't have the numbers on the platform. Well, if I'm getting 25K from Vlad, and I'm on that motherfucker how many times a year? And now I ask for 35, I haven't been on there for seven months. How am I asking for too much money? On a year basis, I feel I saved him money. That's how I feel, and I told Vlad that. But for you to say that I'm asking for too much money, you're not looking at the yearly rate to what this yearly rate would be.
Once Vlad stepped in and confirmed the numbers he had been offering, the conversation shifted fast. Suddenly, a lot of people started looking at Boosie sideways. Some fans were split, sure, but a noticeable number of industry voices, especially those who've been around for years, seemed to side with Vlad. And that reaction? It didn't sit well with Boosie at all. Things really started heating up when Boosie began calling people out directly. One of the first names he went after was DJ Envy.
And it don't matter if somebody richer than me. It don't matter if somebody got more numbers on their platform. Plenty of people that been on Vlad. A lot of times they still won't do the numbers Boosie do. Numbers and everything don't make you motherfucker. I'm Boosie, nigga. I'm different. You know? But just think about that. 25, 6, 7, 8 times a year. And it's been 7 months and I haven't done an interview and I asked for 35. That's why we feel we couldn't come to an agreement. And also, why you think a lot of
And that moment kind of set the tone for everything that followed. Because after that, it wasn't just one person, it became a pattern. Anyone who shared an opinion that didn't line up with the Boosie stance suddenly became a target. People were simply saying things like, maybe the numbers just don't make sense, or Vlad has the right to decide what he pays. Basic commentary. But Boosie wasn't hearing any of it. Instead, he started firing back at nearly everyone who disagreed.
DJ Academy. You know you're in Vlad like this. You already know that. Anything I got going on when I come on social media, you go against it. Whatever it is with Boosie, you go against it. You trying to be a silent assassin to me. It's all good, man. You're a podcaster. And that's your dog, so you supposed to roll with your dog. I get it. I get it.
At one point, Boosie even claimed that people only tuned into Vlad TV because of him. He was basically saying, Why do you think people watch that platform? It's because of me. And look, there's some truth to the idea that Boosie brought attention and views. No one's denying that. He definitely had moments that performed well and got people talking. But at the same time, it's hard to ignore the bigger picture. Vlad TV, built by DJ Vlad, has been around for over 2 decades, consistently putting out interviews that people check for. That kind of history doesn't just disappear. So while Boosie contributed to the platform saying he's the main reason people watch, that's where a lot of people started raising eyebrows. Now here's where things get even more confusing. Boosie reportedly turned down $25,000 from Vlad, but then started offering to appear on The Breakfast Club for free. Yes, free? He was even reaching out, trying to get on the show hosted by DJ Envy and others, just to tell his side of the story. And that's the part that has people scratching their heads. Because if the issue is about being underpaid, why turn down a solid paycheck, only to go somewhere else without getting paid at all? Some people are trying to make sense of it, saying maybe it's about exposure or respect. But even then, the move feels a bit all over the place. It didn't stop there either. Boosie also went after DJ Akademiks after he shared his opinion on the situation. Akademiks basically said that Vlad had the right to look at the numbers and decide what made business sense. Simple take, nothing too wild. But Boosie took that personally.
Why Boosie thinks I'm against him, because I'm not just gonna blindly agree. Boosie keeps, like, I know Vlad, okay? Not saying Vlad's not a real nigga, but Vlad's a businessman. He's a businessman before anything else. He's a dollars and cents guy. He does good business, but he's not the person who, like, a lot of times we do black business. You know what black business is? You overcompensate somebody because you say, that's my homie. You feel what I'm saying? Like, everybody who gets on, when you're black, you always got that one homie that you knew from the hood. You give him a job and you start paying him for he can't do. You start overpaying people for loyalty more than actually their skills. Vlad is a dollars and cents person. Okay, cool. Hey, listen, you're my friend. You're cool, but I can't pay you that. You got to get out of here.
From Boosie's point of view, that comment felt like betrayal. He started suggesting that Akademiks had always been against him, even labeling him as a hater. And that's when the tone really shifted. What started as a disagreement over money turned into something much more personal and emotional. Watching all of this unfold, it feels like Boosie might be reacting more from frustration than strategy. Because while he absolutely has the right to ask for whatever price he feels he deserves, no one can take that away from him.
A lot of us black folks, we constantly are doing nigga business. Yo, y'all been your man since day one. Well, that's not how business goes. You've never heard, like, you never heard Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk like, y'all fired that nigga? Oh, that was my man since day one. No, did you do the job? What are you bringing back? What does the number say? That's really how business goes. Vlad treats it like that. So does Adam. Ironically, it's the white dudes that treat it like that. You know who usually don't treat it like that? It's black folks. So there's a lot of people that have collected checks probably from me, Joe Budden, Charlemagne, from Sean Cotton, that probably at times that if we were just being only financially savvy and just whatever, we would have cut them off and just put them like, yo, you're in the unemployment line. However, there's something about what I call nigga business. We value certain things that are intangible.
The other side of that is just as real. Vlad also has the right to say no if the numbers don't line up. And when people outside the situation share their opinions, even if those opinions aren't flattering, that's part of the game too. Not everyone is going to agree, and that doesn't automatically make them enemies. Right now, though, the way things are playing out, it's starting to look less like a negotiation and more like a public meltdown. And whether people agree with Boosie or not, one thing is clear. This whole situation has taken a turn that nobody really expected. Looking at how this whole thing played out, it really makes you wonder what kind of reaction Boosie was actually expecting. Because if people like DJ Envy or DJ Akademiks came out and straight up disrespected him, saying something wild like, Boosie doesn't deserve anything, then yeah, that kind of response would hit different. Anyone would feel some type of way hearing that. But that's not what happened here. Instead, their takes were way more measured and business-focused. The vibe coming from them was more like, $40,000 sounds a bit high. Or, if the numbers don't make sense, then it makes sense why Vlad isn't agreeing. That's not an attack. That's just commentary. It's not personal. It's just looking at it from a numbers standpoint. And that's where the confusion really starts. Because if someone is simply saying, I understand both sides, but the math might not add up, why react like it's a full-on betrayal?
Hey, Friday, Patreon. I need you to log up right now. Patreon, Friday, my new interview. I ain't interviewed in 6 months. I went off on that. It's an hour and 30 minutes long. It's part 1. Part 2 will be releasing Wednesday. And it's time for my fans to support me, man. I mean, we all we got, bro. Like, I just got a call from one of my Hawks dudes who sit courtside. He say, Boosie, I'm gonna give you $500 to $1,000 for that interview because I just saw a page where they talking about you and it made me mad. You know, and I'm just grateful for fans like that, bro. Like, for real, like, to all my fans who was,
That disconnect is what has a lot of people watching this situation and trying to figure out what exactly set Boosie off like this. From the outside, it almost feels like Boosie believed that if these big voices spoke up in his favor, it would shift the entire narrative online. Like their support would instantly flip public opinion and force Vlad into changing his stance. But that's not really how things work, especially not in today's media space. The reality is, there are already people who are going to support Boosie no matter what. Some of them might not even like DJ Vlad to begin with, so they're naturally going to side against him regardless of the details. That support base isn't going anywhere. And on the flip side, even people who think Boosie is asking for too much aren't suddenly going to stop watching his content. That's the part that seems overlooked. Someone can disagree with how you handled a situation and still tune into your interviews, still subscribe, still click on your videos. One opinion doesn't erase your entire audience. So when you really break it down, nothing DJ Akademiks or DJ Envy said was powerful enough to damage Boosie's position like that. It just wasn't that deep. But the reaction? That made it feel way bigger than it actually was. Now Akademiks did eventually respond back after getting called out. And his response was pretty straightforward. He basically said he didn't understand why Boosie was reacting so strongly, or why things escalated the way they did. In his eyes, this was just a normal business disagreement that got taken way too far. And to be fair, that part does line up, because at its core, this situation really is about value, negotiation, and what makes sense on paper. Nothing more, nothing less. But here's where things start getting a little more layered. Some people didn't like how Akademiks framed his argument. There was this underlying tone that made it seem like one side was being emotional, while the other side was being strictly business-minded. And that kind of framing rubbed people the wrong way. Because the truth is, business doesn't look the same for everyone. Different communities, different backgrounds, they all influence how people handle deals, loyalty, and relationships. Not everything is just numbers on a spreadsheet. A more balanced way to look at it might be this. Some people approach business with a strong focus on relationships and support systems. There's this idea of looking out for each other, helping people come up together, and not cutting ties too quickly. That mindset comes from real experiences and real challenges. So when someone expects a certain level of support or flexibility, it's not always coming from entitlement. Sometimes it's coming from a different way of doing business entirely. That being said, even with that perspective, it still doesn't fully explain Boosie's reaction, because at the end of the day, the situation itself kind of proves the point. If someone looks at the numbers and decides they can't meet your price, that's their call. It might not feel good, but it's part of the process. And getting upset at people for simply pointing that out, that's where things start to go off track. Another thing people have been quietly bringing up is this. If Boosie is asking for $25,000 or more for interviews, are there other platforms willing to meet that price? Because not every outlet operates with the same kind of budget. There's been speculation about whether platforms like Say Cheese TV would even consider paying that kind of fee. And from what people are saying, that's far from guaranteed. Not every platform is in a position to drop that kind of money on a single interview. So now the situation starts to look even more complicated. Because if one major platform says no, and others might not match the price either, then what's the next move? That's the question hanging in the air right now. At this point, it feels less like a simple disagreement and more like a moment that could shape how Boosie moves going forward. Because reactions like this don't just disappear. They stick with people. They influence perception, and they change how future deals might be approached. And the way things are unfolding, it's clear this situation isn't just about one interview anymore. It's about reputation, strategy, and how you handle pressure when things don't go your way. At this point, when you really step back and look at everything, it doesn't even seem like this situation is just about one deal anymore. It's bigger than that. Because if we're being real, it's not just DJ Vlad who isn't matching Boosie's new asking price. It's pretty much everybody in that media space. Think about it. There's no strong sign that DJ Akademiks is lining up to drop $25,000 for an interview. Platforms connected to Adam 22 aren't known for throwing around that kind of money either. And even Sean Cotton, another major name in this lane, doesn't typically operate at that level when it comes to paying guests. So when you line all of that up, it starts to look like Vlad's original $25,000 offer might have actually been one of the best deals on the table. That's why a lot of people are calling this a serious missed opportunity. Because walking away from that kind of guaranteed check, especially without another confirmed offer waiting, that's a risky move. And let's be honest here, from a business standpoint, it feels like a gamble that didn't really need to happen. It's one thing to negotiate and know your value. That's part of the game. But it's another thing to turn down a solid deal based on what someone else might be getting, especially when those situations aren't exactly the same. Now here's where things take another turn. Boosie has started giving hints about how he plans to move going forward. Instead of relying fully on platforms like YouTube, he's leaning toward a Patreon-style model for his interviews and content. And on paper, that sounds interesting. A direct-to-supporters setup, where fans pay to access exclusive content. That can work. We've seen creators build strong communities that way. But the big question is this the right timing for that kind of move? Because here's the reality. Platforms like YouTube are still one of the most powerful tools for growth. That's where people discover you. That's where clips go viral. That's where new audiences find your content without having to pay up front. Jumping straight into a paid model without fully maximizing that exposure first, that can slow things down. Even some of the biggest names who are crushing it on subscription platforms didn't start there. They built their buzz in public first. They dropped clips, went viral, built loyal audiences, and then, once people were fully locked in, they introduced the paid layer. That's the blueprint that's been working. Build the habit first, then monetize it deeper. So when looking at Boosie's current move, some people are saying he might be switching lanes a little too early. Instead of using YouTube as the main stage and Patreon as a bonus, it feels like he's flipping that order, and that could limit how far the content spreads. Because think about it. If new viewers can't easily access your content, they're less likely to become fans in the first place. And without that steady flow of new eyes, growing the platform becomes way harder than it needs to be. Now, don't get it twisted. There are definitely people who are still going to support Boosie no matter what. Loyal supporters are going to tap in, subscribe, and follow wherever he goes. That core audience is real. But the bigger picture, that's where strategy matters the most. And right now, it feels like this whole situation, from turning down the deal to shifting platforms, is happening all at once. That's a lot of big moves back to back. And when everything stacks up like that, people start questioning the long-term play. At the end of the day, though, this is still a Boosie decision. He's the one calling the shots. He's the one choosing how he wants to move and what direction to take. And sometimes people have to learn through experience what works and what doesn't. But from the outside looking in, yeah, this definitely feels like a moment that could have been handled a little differently. Now I'm curious what you think about all of this. Was turning down that $25,000 the right move, or was that a huge mistake? And do you think switching to a Patreon-style setup right now is smart, or is it too soon? If you made it this far, don't just sit back. Hit that like button, share this video, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. It really helps push these videos out and keeps everything growing. And before you go, check out the next video popping up on your screen right now. There's even more wild celebrity drama waiting for you. And trust me, it gets even crazier with David and Celeste. Tap in and see what's really going on. I'll catch you in the next one.